Alrighty, guys. Question number 29. So almost there, guys. All right. So for this question, guys, it wants you to evaluate different types of plots. All right. Here's the various things you need to know when evaluating anything related to plots. All right. You need to know what the mean is, what the median is. All right. What the mode is. Okay. What the range is, what the quartile 1 is, what the quartile 3 is, and then what your IQR is. All right. So these are all the things you need to know when related to any plot at all. All right. Your mean is your average. So again, your mean is your what? Your average. Okay. So to calculate your average, you do your total divided, so the total, so when you add up everything, that total divided by number of things. So divided by the number of things that you have. All right. The median is your middle number. All right. So after you rearrange them from smallest to largest, it's whatever is in the middle. Okay. If you have two numbers in the middle, you do the sum of those two numbers divided by 2. So again, if your middle was two numbers, you would do that first number plus the second middle number divided by 2. So again, that's if your middle number were two numbers. So if you had a set of, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, both 3 and 4 are in the middle, so the number that would be in between them would be 2.5. To calculate that, you would do 2 plus 3 divided by 2. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. So again, guys, that is how you could calculate the median if you have two numbers that are in the middle. Okay? The mode is your most frequent amount. All right? So it's the number that you see most frequently. Okay? So it's the thing that you see most frequently. All right? Your range is your largest value or your maximum value minus your smallest value or your minimum value. All right? Your quartile 1, all right, it will normally be represented using a box plot. Okay? So if you saw a box plot, something that looks like this, so it is called a box and whisker plot. All right? Whatever this is represents your quartile 1. All right? And for the same box and whisker plot, okay, so again, for that same box and whisker plot, I didn't draw it well the next time. So for this same plot, okay, this represents your quartile 3. Okay? So for your interquartile range, guys, all right, you will be doing your quartile 3 minus your quartile 1. All right? So again, quartile 1 and quartile 3 can be done for a set of numbers also. All right? Because again, if you had some numbers, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. The quartile 1 would be after so you find the middle first. So the middle would be right here. Okay. Your quartile 1 would be the middle of your first area. So right here. All right. And your quartile 3, so this would be the quartile 1. Quartile 3 would be the middle of your second area. All right. So again, guys, that's if you had a set of numbers and you did not have a box and whisker plot. All right. So again, guys, that's everything you need to know for all the different types of plots. Okay. So let's answer the question. So it says a teacher put all her students' quiz scores up on a dot plot below. Okay. How many students are in the class? Okay. So each of these dots represent a student. So when we're looking at this right here, we're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 students got 60. So again, 6 students got 60. How many students got 65? 2. How many students got 70? 5. How many students got 75? 5 of them. How many students got 80? 1. How many students got 85? 1. How many students got 90? 5. How many students got 2? Or got 95? 2. And how many students got 100? 3. So when I want to find out how many students are in the class, all I need to do is add up all those numbers. So I need to do 6 plus 2 plus 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1 plus 5 plus 2 plus 3. 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. 13 plus 5 is 18. 18 plus 1, 19. Then 20. 20 plus 5 is 25. 25 plus 2 is 27. 27 plus 3 is 30. You can put that in your calculator, but I'm choosing not to. Okay? So there's 30 people in the entire class. All right? So again, none of the information that I listed over here was as helpful for this question, but it was things that you guys need to know for other questions. All right? So let's try another question. Okay? Let's try another one. Let's see if I can get all this information to return. Oh, so I guess not. All right. So again, I can't get all this information to return. So let's clear off our screen. All right. And let's try to solve this. So the question says the dot plot below represents how long it takes students in 8th grade math class to get to school every morning. All right. How many students take less than 40 minutes? Okay. So at the bottom here, we're talking about minutes. So right here, when we look at this, we're looking at 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 75, 30, 35, 40, and 45 minutes. We're only looking at the amount of people that spend less than 40 minutes to get to school. All right? So when I say less than 40 minutes, I'm not going to include 40 minutes. I need to be smaller than 40 minutes. So I'm looking at all of these people right here. All right? So we had 5 people that took 5 minutes. We had 4 people that took 10 minutes, 4 that took 15, 1 that took 20, 2 that took 25, 3 that took 30, and then 4 that took 35. So when I add up all those numbers, that would be the total amount of persons that took less than 40 minutes. So 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 4, 13, plus 1, 14, all right? Plus 2, 16, plus 3, 19, plus 4, 23. So about 23 students, all right, did less than 40 minutes, okay? But again, guys, keep on practicing because there is a lot, right? There's a lot of different variations for this one, all right? So like this one, we weren't even given a dot plot, we were given a bar graph, okay? So again, guys, this is a bar chart, okay? Because they look like bars. So it says the graph below represents the number of goals scored by the boys soccer team in every game so far this season. All right. So this is the amount of goals they scored, and this is the number of games they played. All right. So they played a maximum of 6 games, and they scored a maximum of 5 goals per game. All right, or in any set of games. Okay. How many times did the team score less than 2 goals? All right. So less than 2 goals, all right, would be everything over here. All right. Because again, guys, 2 goals is right here. So I need to look at everything over here. So how many times did the team score that less than 2 goals? So they scored 1 goal in 1 game. All right. And they scored no goals in 3 games. So they scored a total. So they scored no goals in 3 games. So total amount of games that they scored less than 2 were 4 games. All right. So again, guys, this is very interpretation based. So you have to literally be interpreting as best as you can. All right. So that's why I tell you to try to do as much as you can. Okay. So for the next one, it says the graph below represents the data that was collected by students on the number of social media posts they made the previous day. So this is the number of social media posts. So they made a maximum of 8 posts in any amount of days. And then this is the number of students, okay? How many students made less than 2 posts? So less than 2 posts. So this is the number of posts. So I'm looking at less than 2. So I have 5 people that did one post, all right? And I had 3 people that did no post at all. So I had a total of 8 people that did less than 2 posts, all right? So again, we have 8 people that did less than 2 posts, okay? So again, guys, this one I would definitely do about 10 or even 20 of them because a lot of them, everything is different. So here it says to find the mean. So the mean is your total divided by the number of things that is in your set. Okay? So mean is your average. Okay? So you do your total amount. So everything added up together 1.34 plus 0.18 plus 0.77 plus 0.92 plus 0.29 and divide all of that by the total amount of things 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Okay, so this one I'm going to use my calculator for, okay, because again those are a lot of decimals. So 1.34 plus 0.18 plus 0.77 plus 0.92. Let's make sure everything is typed in properly. 1.34, 0.18, 0.77, 0.92, then plus 0.29. All right, let's make sure everything is accurate because I don't want to make a mistake, okay? And then all divided by 5. So when I divide it by 5, I get 0.7, all right? And that's how you find the mean or the average, all right? So let's try another problem because again, guys, all of the problems we just did a while ago were all different, okay? So again, let's keep on practicing. All right, so this one says the Fahrenheit temperature reading on several spring mornings in New York City are represented by the graph below. We're comparing the degrees in Fahrenheit, so from 0 to 44, 45 to 49, 50 to 54, 59 to 50, 55 to 59, 60 to 64, and 65 to 69, okay, for the frequency of days, so a maximum of 10 days in frequency. What was the most common interval of temperature? So the most common thing would be your most frequent thing or your highest bar graph. So the most common interval was from 40 to 44. All right. So again, this one is asking for the mode, and mode would be the most frequent thing. All right. So let's do some more, guys, because again, every problem we just did were all different. This one doesn't ask for mean. What is this asking for? This is asking for range. All right. Range is not the same as mean, guys. So I know it looks like the same table, but you're not doing the same thing. Range, all right, means that you do your largest amount minus your smallest amount. All right. So your maximum minus your minimum. So first let's identify the largest amount. So of these amounts right here, the largest amount would be the 1.98. It's bigger than everything else. So 1.98. And what would your smallest amount be? Your smallest amount would be 0.39. So 0.39 is your smallest amount, and you are subtracting them. All right. So again, you can drop this in your calculator. All right. You don't really have to use a calculator, but I would use one. So 1.98 minus 0.39. Okay. So I got 1.59. Okay. So again, that's the range. Okay. So again, as I said, every problem we just did were all different from each other. So again, try to do about 10 of these. Okay. That way you can see all the variations. So this one says the graph below represents results of a survey in which students stated the number of minutes they spent watching TV the previous day. This is the number of minutes they spend, so 0 to 29, 39 to 59, and so forth, okay? And this is the number of students, okay? So what was the most common interval of minutes students spent watching TV? So the most common thing would be the mode or the highest bar graph, so from 150 to 179. That's a lot of minutes watching TV. Oh my goodness, all right? So let's go ahead, guys. Actually, not really, because 179 minutes is about, so it's almost only 3 hours. So actually, that's not a crazy amount. That would have been a crazy amount if it was on social media. So this one says we're trying to find the range. The range is your largest minus your smallest. All right. So again, your range is your maximum minus your minimum. All right. So what's my largest value? My largest value is 152. And what's my smallest value? 20. All right. So this I can actually do in my head. So 152 minus 20 is 132. All right. So again, this one we could have done in our head. All right. 132. We don't really need a calculator for this one. All right. So again, guys, let's keep on practicing. All right. Perfect. So this is the last question I'm gonna do with you guys, because this one asks for IQR. All right. So first things first, I'm gonna label a few things for you. Okay. So this is called a box and whisker plot. Okay. These right here are the whiskers, and this is the box. All right. So that's why it's called box and whisker plot. All right. This first whisker right here represents your minimum. This second whisker right here represents your maximum. All right. Right here, where you see this line right here, guys, that represents your quartile 1. This line right here represents your quartile 3. This middle line technically represents your quartile 2, but your quartile 2 is just your median or your middle amount, okay? So that would represent your quartile 2, but we don't really call it quartile 2. We call it your median. It's your middle amount, all right? So for us, guys, the minimum would have been 40. So again, I'm going to label some things, guys, okay? Because again, this is the last question I'm going to do. The minimum would be 40. What would the maximum be? The maximum would be, because again, these are going in intervals of, so 0, 5, 10, 15, 20. So they're going in intervals of 5. So this would be 85, okay? So the max is 85, all right? What would the quartile 1 be? The quartile 1 would be, so then this is 45, so then this is 50. So the quartile 1 would be 50. What would the quartile 3 be? So 60, 65, 70. All right, that's what that looks like. All right, so the quartile 3 would be 70. All right, what would the median be? Well, the median or the quartile 2 would have been 60. All right, so the median or the quartile 2 would be 60. All right, so now we're going to find the IQR. So the IQR stands for interquartile range. All right, to find that, you do Q3 minus Q1. All right, so when we're doing this, guys, the Q3 would be 70. Your Q1 would be 50, and we're subtracting them. And when you subtract that, you will get 20. So my IQR and the answer for this question would be 20. But what if I also wanted to find the range? So if I wanted to find the range, all I would do is the minimum value, or rather the maximum value minus the minimum value. All right. So the maximum would be 85. The minimum would be 40. So 85 minus 40 is 45. That would be the range if the question asks for the range. All right. So that's everything you need to know for this question. All right. Or for questions related to this. But the answer we're looking for is IQR. And the IQR is Q3 minus Q1, which is 20. All right. So again, guys, just like that. So again, try about 10 of these questions so you guys can see all the different variations.